forgot
See,
to.
I think we just need a plain background and a pillow so we can stop worrying about the. Okay,
We're on.
we are on. What's up, everybody?
Hey, hey, hey.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. But today is we are the Grimes Group, and we here live with you with Wealth Building Wednesday. It's a new year, a new season, and we've already discussed a couple of things so far. We talked about goal setting and a little bit of budgeting and planning. What other some of the topic? Well, this is what our third one for the new year. Is this our third one for the new year? Okay,
third one already.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think it's our third Wealth Building Wednesday for the new year.
I wonder if you all have been joining us or taking a sneak peek at least and see what we're doing here for the new year. We're talking about wealth building. How exciting. How exciting. So let me just give people a few minutes here.
Yeah, we'll give them a second to get on and give us a second to make sure that we have the live stream for ourselves so we can see your comments or posts or and whoever is on with us. I don't know why it's not showing up on my side right now, but hopefully we'll be on in a second.
Okay, we're on Facebook Live. Okay, of the Grimes Group. Is it not showing up?
It's not showing up yet.
Okay, let's see what's going on here.
I'm sure it is though, but I can't find it.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's just give it another second here as we just make sure that I know we're live, so you get to see a little bit of behind the scenes right now as we try to get everything adjusted. I don't know why this thing wants to always give us a little.
We may have to stop and restart, I think, if it's not going through. Do you see it at all?
I do not.
Okay. So do you see us? Can anybody see us? Let's see.
Can you bring up the other screen? Because I don't see it online.
Okay. So we may have to bring up the other screen. Here we go.
It's
a work in progress, people. Work in progress.
You got it. So we are live.
Okay,
there you go. We're here.
Wonderful.
Okay, but where'd you get the comments? Because I don't see the comments pop the comment box.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I got it.
We didn't say we were technical gurus over here. We're talking about building wealth. So
yes.
So it takes a little bit of everything to get to that wealth process. Okay, so
there it is.
All right, you hear us.
Oh, yes, well, you got I hear us here. I got sound.
You got sound.
This is so comical.
And okay, here we go. And we got one person viewing now.
This is so comical. Okay, so that one person, you can see our bloops and blunders, what's going on here.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so also we wanted to do it on Instagram as well. The only thing is our setup is not really ready for that because, we have to do the background and all of that. We did it last week, but we weren't on point like we thought we were going to be. So this time we're staying off of Instagram. So we're only on Facebook Live and Zoom. So you can definitely join us through Zoom. If you need me to share that link, I will. For you, I'll put it in the chat box. How's that?
That sounds good.
In the meantime, I guess you could begin talking about what our topic is today.
All right. Well, our topic today is the topic of equity. Figuring out what is equity, why is equity important, and how to build equity. Equity is found in a few different places. I mean, one of the biggest places that we find equity is within real estate. And again, we are a real estate team. So that is definitely the one of the most important things that we look to build equity in when we find somebody that wants to purchase a home. Um, when we, especially me being like the buyer's agent for the team, uh, when I go out and do showings with my clients, I always want to try to make sure that they're getting the best deal, they're getting the best bang for their buck. So, and equity is where it's at. So if you buy a house and you want to make sure that you're walking into it where it has a little bit of equity. And let me just give you what Webster's dictionary says equity is. Equity is um, the quality of being fair. Well, that's one of them. The quality of being fair and impartial. And in finance, equity is the ownership of asset that may have debts or other liabilities attached to them. Equity is measured for accounting purposes by subtracting the liabilities from the value of the asset. So basically, after everything is paid, after the mortgage is paid, after any utilities and everything else, that's where your equity amount is at.
That is
Okay.
correct.
So, like I said, equity represents the value that would be returned to a company's shareholders if all of the assets were liquidated. So, like I said, once all the debts are paid off, that's when we start thinking about the equity. And when we think of equity as a degree of residual ownership in a firm or asset after subtracting all of the debt. So it works within the shareholders and shareholders within the corporate world and homeowners within the residential field.
Okay. All
Hmm.
right. I get that.
Okay. And the other reason why I brought up equity this week was it's been a lot of talk about social equity and equity platforms. I mean, our office has started, which you are a part of, and I believe you are the head person of the Social Equities Task Force, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and
So,
tell us a little bit about that.
okay. Well, Keller Williams has decided to include equity in their, you'd have to admit her. Yes.
Okay, all right.
The only reason is some people, we're just discussing the behind the scenes stuff. Um, Technically, we're, like I said, having a little difficulty. So we want to make sure that everyone is a part of the program.
Mhm.
So, okay, so let's talk about social equity. Okay, Keller Williams has decided that at first they called it social equality task force,
Mhm.
and then they voted on having it be a social equity task force. And I'm actually one of the ambassadors for our region that's going to represent the Keller Williams Market Center, our market center in Lake Nona. Now, the whole reason behind it is
Mhm.
to allow for the equity of all people,
Mhm.
the people that maybe they haven't received a fair share in the workplace.
Mhm.
He wants to make it across the board that everybody is not only treated equally, but also has equity invested into the company so they can also have some residual at one point in time.
Mhm.
What this will end up doing, my main task on this task force is to build up a community that will allow for us. Hi,
Yeah, that's good. Got me spicy.
Suzette.
Suzette just joined us. That's another wonderful agent that
Yes,
works within our
we
office.
love Suzette.
Absolutely.
So what I'm trying to do at our market center is basically build up the equity positions, making known positions for everyone to not only work in a workplace, but be invested in it
Hmm.
so that their families can be taken care of, their families can be taken care of. So this was created not just for a certain group of people, it's
Hmm.
created for everyone. And I'd
Absolutely.
love to invite anyone that's interested in receiving equity in their companies to kind of, join this with me. This is a cultural movement, and I think that everyone can benefit from it. I know that everyone can benefit from it. So I was very surprised tonight when Curtis said, let's talk about equity versus equality. I thought it was a great topic. I'm on board, and I look forward to hearing what more he has to say.
Okay. Well, and then that kind of segues into the other part of what I was talking about, because equity really balances equality, because a lot of people look at, again, we're talking about wealth building. So building wealth, so you have to have a piece of the pie to be able to, the same, you want to be able to have something to of your own.
Yeah.
And that's where equity is at, and that's what builds the equality too, and which kind of makes it a very level playing field.
Yes,
So,
because if we think about it, honestly, truthfully speaking, if you go to the African History Museum, you will see the Black History Museum, because we went, and you will see the difference, of how much
one gender of people, one race of people.
I'm gonna say Black because I'm Black. One race of people started off with far less than another race of people. So, you can't balance it in one day, in one night, in 1 year. It takes time, over time, hopefully that we can grow intellectually as well, to be on we're on the same playing field, but the problem is that there needs to be some catch up. So we have to definitely catch up here. Okay. So I'm talking because I am, a Black person. So, I can speak of my race, and I'm sure if there's other races on this call, they can speak, of themselves as well. But history shows us we were not always equal.
Absolutely. I mean, financially, and even as a people. I mean, that's history. That's the, that it is what it is at that point. And again, there was a part where it said equality versus equity. The difference between equality and equity must be emphasized. Although both promote fairness, equality achieves this through treating everyone the same regardless of the need, while equity achieves this through treating people differently depending on their need. So
you want to break that down?
Okay, so basically,
I'm testing his teaching skills here.
So basically, the amount of wealth that one set of people have. I mean, if you don't own anything, it makes it hard for it to be any equality. There is no equality if you don't own anything, and that's why you have to learn how to build equity. Yes. and having equity. So
one of the main important things is ownership.
Ownership, absolutely. And again, we can discuss home ownership. Home ownership is one of the biggest places where people build equity. That's one of the biggest financial decisions that people make. So that's where their wealth normally stems from. It's most of the time it's either real estate or stocks, or inventions. Unless you're going to invent something and become an inventor, that's pretty much where wealth really begins from. Unless you're going to create a new iPhone or something like that. And that gives you that ground of equity to build from.
Right. Correct.
Okay.
You got some inventions coming up lately?
No, I don't have any inventions, but I know one thing that's not being invented anymore, and that's real estate. So that's why I try to buy as much as I can. So
land.
Buying land, absolutely.
Land is not going to. There's no more land.
Land, there's not. They can't make any more of it. God has already laid it all out. So
that is correct.
So that's it.
That is correct.
So buy a piece of it and start building some equity in it. Okay, and now when we talk about how to build equity in that land, in that home that you build, one of the first things was making a substantial down payment
Correct.
to kick down the which helps kick down your payments, which helps build up the
Hmm.
equity growth that you have on that piece of property.
Right.
Hmm.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay, she said, "All right, I love this. I love y'all. I have to go, but I'll watch. I will watch later." All right, Suzette. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Uh,
Suzette.
yes, indeed. Okay, so
Okay. So,
oh, all right. I get distracted sometimes with trying to keep up because, like I said, this is
this
more
is
of
so comical.
it's more of an interaction thing. So it's good when we have other people interact and if they have any questions about what equity is, what does equity mean to them, you
Hmm.
know.
And if you're
Uh,
on the Zoom call, you can definitely punch in the chat box
mhm.
and go from there. Talk through the chat box.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about home ownership a little bit.
Hmm.
All right. Let's talk about building equity just a little bit. Now, there are some of you on this call that already own a home. Some of you don't, but some of you do. Um, let's talk about if you have a home and you have equity in your home. Okay. So I remember there was a time when we had equity in a home that we had owned up north. And we decided that with that equity, we will borrow some money from our equity. And that was called a home uh, equity line of credit.
Hmm.
So we ended up borrowing some money from that home and purchased another home with the money that we borrowed. Okay. But we could not do that if we didn't have a home in the first place.
Right.
So some people think that, okay, I bought a home, I'm done. There's no way that I can purchase another home. And that is so untrue. Having your home has now provided you a resource that's a bank, basically, that you live in.
Hmm.
Okay. But I always tell people you have to treat it as such, meaning you have to take care
Maintenance.
of it, you have to maintain it. um, uh, if you're going to use this as your so-called bank for your future, you want to make sure that it is upkept. And you also want to make sure that you spend some time in it in order to build some equity. Okay, so,
It doesn't happen overnight.
right,
A lot of
right, that
people
is
are
correct.
everybody's looking for a get rich quick type of,
Yeah, and it really
you know.
doesn't. I mean, this market that we're in has been extremely surprising, and the reason being is some customers that I spoke to last year that was not able to sell their house at a price that they wanted, all of a sudden saw, I don't know, 10-15% growth
Mhm.
in the market, and then they were able to get more than they expected this year. This year, the market kind of boomed, so they had more equity than they expected to have.
Mhm.
However, it doesn't always happen like that. Usually, we say about 5 years is what you should hold on to your house,
That turnaround
that
time.
turnaround time, in order to build some equity. Okay, so I suggest 5 years at least. This year, like I said, was unusual. I had some people that bought 2 years ago and was able to sell for,
Yeah,
you
you,
know,
you just give maybe like an example of where, uh, like the average price purchasing a home, say $250,000.
okay.
So,
So, as a matter of fact, I have a customer that they're selling their home now. They actually purchased their house for around I want to say 280, somewhere around there.
mhm.
They're able to sell it for around 350 now.
Wow.
So that is a huge jump when
Mhm.
it hasn't been that many years.
Mhm.
So, it building equity does not happen overnight. It
Right.
definitely, like Curtis said, it definitely will take some time. But the great thing is, it's not like putting it in the bank. You're growing a certain percentage every year.
Hmm.
And it's not 0.5% what a bank is going to give you.
Exactly.
It's
It's
actually
you
somewhere around
six
six,
between 6 and 12%.
9%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty darn good. That's great earnings on your money year after year after year.
Abs-
Okay.
Absolutely. Um, And the other thing I was going to say, like kind of piggybacking on that, is when you first go into the home, like I was
Mhm.
saying before about trying to make sure that you go into the home with a little bit of equity. So even if you get that fixer upper that needs a couple of things done to it
Mhm.
or something like that, when you get into so you say the home is $250,000, and the value in that area, in that market area,
Mhm.
is say $300,000. But this house, the only reason the house is going for 250 is because maybe it needs an updated kitchen or it needs an updated bathroom, and you can make that initial investment into the home. You stay in the home long enough, you
Mhm.
build up a little equity within the house. You take out, like what you were saying, taking out
Home equity
a
line
home
of
equity
credit.
line of credit
Mhm.
and utilizing that money to upgrade the home. And now you've put money into an appreciating asset. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that leads me to talk about what are the things that will build equity appreciating assets
mhm.
and what are things that won't build any equity.
um, well, I can speak more on the things that will build because
So speak on
I try to stay away from anything that's not going to build some equity. That's,
it. Well, not always.
not taking care of your yard, not maintaining your house. That's just taking equity away. And one other thing I just wanted to touch before we even go there is it's a lot of people don't even see the money that they're losing when they're renting or something like that, because say you're renting and you're spending, I don't know, $1,000. I'm just using easy number. You're
Mhm.
paying $1,000 a month in rent, which a lot of people paying a lot more than that. But you paid $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year, and in that 5 year period, that's $60,000. So $60,000 you just threw out the window in 5 years because you're getting nothing back, and that's why equity
Yeah,
is so important.
absolutely.
That's why that's why the topic tonight about equity, I believe, is a really important topic. Like I said, it's being it's being publicized throughout the media, throughout politics, throughout a lot of different things right now, because they know that equity is that thing
Hmm.
that establishes people, that helps people to get established.
That's right.
That's one of the fundamental, the rubric, the foundation pieces to build wealth is equity, having some sort of equity. And equity, like we said, is ownership.
That is correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now,
I agree.
and now I went so far on, I forgot where you left me at.
This is our conversations.
Where you left me at.
This is our conversations.
Yeah, that is how it goes. Okay, I see. Let's see. We got
Oh,
somebody.
yeah, you
Okay,
need a distraction,
I
right?
need a little distraction right now. Okay, yeah, y'all picking up how I do this. Okay, all right. Eric Ballard, that's my brother from Queensbridge. I see you, man.
Hey,
I
Eric.
I appreciate you for joining us. I see Toby is on watching. Hey, Toby. Hope all is well with you. Um,
Watching us and our crazy selves.
yeah, yeah. Every now and then we give a couple of good nuggets out there to help people to, like I said, establishing wealth is what we want everyone to be able to do, and equity is equality.
Yes.
Having equity kind
Mhm.
of balances out that playing field for everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, all right. So let's talk about some things that don't bring you equity and
Right.
things that do bring you equity. So, of course, like Curtis mentioned, a house will bring you equity. A uh, Stocks will bring you equity. Things like, I say vintage handbags. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but I say vintage handbags can even bring you some equity, because I've seen some people sell handbags at a much greater price,
Mhm,
but like I said, it can't be worn down, it can't be abused. You have to maintain the things you have, right?
mhm.
So just a tidbit, I keep my bags most of the time in boxes and things like that, only because I do, you never know. You
Mm,
never know if you want to give it away or sell it. You never know what you want to do with it. So I try to keep those things good. Jewelry,
Hmm.
there's we always laugh that Curtis has. I bought Curtis a gold chain years ago, right? Years ago.
Hmm.
And when I bought him this gold chain, yep, when I bought him this, you can't touch it. This is not.
I'm thinking I can touch the screen. Okay.
When I bought him this gold chain, I think he was about, he must have been about 23 or something like
Yeah.
that I bought this gold chain.
Hmm.
And I remember I paid like $600 for that gold chain.
Hmm.
Now that chain is worth like
Probably like 3,000,
six, no,
6,000. Yeah.
$6,000.
Yeah.
That chain is worth $6,000. That is a piece of metal that has now turned into something that is worth more than I would have ever thought it'd be worth.
Hmm.
So now all the kids want it. so jewelry happens to be something that is really good. And I remember one time platinum was really big though.
Right. Yeah. Platinum is not
As big as before.
it's still a precious metal. I mean, precious metals are definitely good equity items.
Mm-hmm.
Silver, gold,
Silver. I remember we bought this. We bought silver presidential coins
Mhm.
at some type of auction, and we were able, when times got a little hard, we were able to sell those coins. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I definitely.
We were
remember
able
that.
to sell those coins back and make a profit. Curtis is like, you telling our story. But listen, we made a profit off of coins.
Yeah.
They were silver. Silver was big at the time. And we said, you know what? Let's dump this. We need to pay our mortgages. We need to do other stuff. So that's what we did with our silver.
Yeah.
So that was a precious metal that built equity that who would have thought? These silver coins that we just picked up and be like, okay, these are cool, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, what else can build equity? What else built equity? Oh, paintings. Artwork can.
Artwork, definitely.
I have Thomas Blackshear.
Yes.
Thomas Blackshear only made a certain amount of pieces of art, right? So I saw this. I didn't buy it because I thought it was going to be worth anything, but I saw it. I liked it. I said, you know what? This art is beautiful. Let me purchase it. Okay. When you have a piece that maybe you got for $50 that is now worth $500, you think twice.
Absolutely.
And say, wow, should have bought more.
Yeah, I mean, Jay-Z, I was going to say earlier, just a second ago, I know I don't remember the lyrics of the song, but I know Jay-Z talked about it in one of his songs, where if he had bought a building that was, a couple 100,000 and now it's worth $1 million. And honestly, we were even in that situation. There was a building in Harlem that we were looking at a while back
every time.
And I think the building was maybe like 400,000 at the time, but we didn't really have 400,000.
It was less than that.
I don't remember the
it
exact
was less
price. Than
that.
But the building ended up going for like $2 million. So
I kick myself every time I think about that.
Yeah,
I mean, it was. I remember it was like
it was right off. It was right off 130th Street in Harlem, somewhere over there.
And he's like, "Oh, it needs too much work.
It needed a lot of work. It's
not worth it." And then 5 years later, the market boomed, exploded, and we looked around, and that thing was $2 million. So equity is something
that is key.
You can catch up. You can catch up with equity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can catch up with equity.
Okay.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to give I try to give everybody a shout out when they comment. Eric said, so much great information. The wife and I are really looking to purchase a home now. We have finally started lining things up. That information is golden. Thank you, Eric.
Oh, yeah, I mean, awesome.
That's the reason why we do this. We do this just to really try to help. And not only does it help us and help you, but it helps us as well. It helps us to stay on top of things and to know what people are looking for and what the need of the people are. And when I believe anytime you can service people and service their need, that right there is equity within itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember, this is just probably going a little off topic a little bit, but I remember when we purchased our first home, and it was very, very scary because it's like you're getting into something that is the unknown, and you think only people with a lot of money purchase homes.
Hmm. And
And
that's not
that is
true.
so not
Not true.
true.
So not true.
That is so not true. As a matter of fact, there are government programs that can help people that don't have a lot of money
Hmm.
purchase homes. And it's because they're trying to either build up communities, or they're trying to give credits to workers like nurses, firefighters, people in the healthcare industry or service field. So they are trying their best. The government has programs set in place, to help people that just don't have the $20,000 or the
Hmm.
20% to put down on a home.
Hmm.
So my initial thought when I was first, and we can make this a whole other, um,
Hmm.
Wednesday, wealth building Wednesday,
Hmm.
but just to think about how I was not under the impression that it was something that was easy. And then when I did it once, it was
Then
like
we.
addictive. Then I did it again. Then
Hmm.
I did it
Hmm.
again.
Yeah, we did
And
that.
because I realized that what I thought in my head to be true, that it was only for the rich who bought the homes, or you had to have so much money when you purchased a home, that was it couldn't be anything further from the truth.
Absolutely.
And it's not, and right now it's so good because the interest rates
It
are
was
so
so low.
low.
Yeah,
I remember
you
when
get
we
it.
first bought, I think it
We
was
was
like,
like nine, almost 9%.
yeah,
We
like
were
nine
when we
percent
purchased our first home. I think it was about 9%.
9% or more.
Hmm.
So now at
Three
2.6%.
3%. Even at 3% is golden.
Yeah, but somebody got 2.6 the other day. I
Yeah,
can't get off of that.
yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. 2.6 or 2.3. I can't remember,
Hmm.
but it was pretty low.
Yeah,
Had me thinking about refinancing. So,
yeah.
and getting equity
Equity
out
out.
so
Absolutely.
I can do other things.
And
So,
that's what we're talking about. How to build up that equity so that you do have something to help establish yourself.
yeah.
And that's what we want people to be able to get established, and we know that it's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to do.
No, fear can take a hold of you really quick.
Hmm.
Because it's so funny how, and I'm just talking for myself, how I used to view things. Okay, well, if I rent, if I lost my job, I could, get out and find another place to rent. We don't understand that if you purchase
Hmm.
and you lost your job, you
Isn't.
still have time to catch up
And then
to
there's
that. And
insurances in
there's
place.
insurances in place in
Absolutely.
case you lose your
Your job.
job.
Right.
So the fear, we need to stop letting the fear take us over in home purchasing. I think one day we should have one of our clients on, just to talk about, the idea of home purchasing, and just doing it,
Hmm.
just getting it done.
Okay. We don't have too many other.
Victor,
Oh, we got Victor on.
hey, how are
Wow,
you?
Victor didn't show. He didn't show up over here, but he showed
he
up on that
he
one.
showed
Okay.
up on mine.
Okay. Hey,
Hey,
Victor.
Victor,
Good
that's
to
one of
see
our
you.
clients.
Um, what are some of the other things that we had to discuss?
Oh, Eric wanted to talk a little bit about debt to income ratio.
Okay.
Make very good money being self-employed, and my credit is not bad either.
Mm-hmm.
What would be my roadblocks, if any, in business for myself for 2 years? So I put money back in the business, preventing me from saving as much as I would have liked. So, can you guys speak on that? Sure.
Okay. Um, Debt to income. The biggest thing to help is the biggest thing when it comes to debt is to try to remove it. That's my key for trying to remove the unnecessary debt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that people will keep that they really don't need. So you have to really evaluate it. Then it comes to an evaluation part where you got to really evaluate your desires, the things that are necessary. I mean, it's necessary to keep the lights on. So you have a business. Let me just read that one more time. Making good money. Okay, credit is not bad. What would be my roadblock, if any? Really, there is no roadblock. The only roadblock, the only thing I would say that would be stopping somebody from moving forward is like not doing that. Sometimes you have to do a real evaluation though, to say, hey, I really don't need to go to Starbucks every day, or I don't need to go to the movies every weekend, or go to whatever it is. A lot of people do a lot of unnecessary things, and that's one of the things where they can't seem to get get out of debt, because they're doing other little things. So the first thing to evaluate in debt for me is finding out where all of your money is going.
Right.
That's the first principle to any type of wealth building, is to know exactly where every dollar you are spending, where it's going. And then once you know where it's going, then you can kind of manage it.
That is correct.
Mhm.
So lenders usually use a debt to income ratio calculation,
Mhm.
and theirs is usually, they don't want to see debt higher than 36%. Okay. So if your debt is higher than 36%, they start wondering, like, okay, well, what's going on here? So that means after you've paid your car
Car,
payment, and they really don't include the rent.
no, they don't include rents
Because it's going to be your mortgage, right?
Mhm.
So your credit card bill, student loans, all of that can't be higher than 36%. And mind you, we're going to have a lender on here to speak more specifically on these things, because I'm not a lender, full disclosure, and I don't want to give you the wrong information.
Yeah,
But I
because
know,
certain loans you can have a little bit higher debt to income ratio.
right. So, but 36%, they don't want you to have more than 28% definitely of debt. Okay. So that's just a tidbit for a debt to income ratio for you to start looking at. Now, as far as what could be your roadblocks, I have a different answer. As an entrepreneur, your roadblocks could be that you're not claiming everything on your taxes. Okay. There are sometimes when entrepreneurs like ourselves need to claim a lot of items because we consider it a loss. But your accountant, if you're buying a home, you should let your accountant know this ahead of time, so that they can make sure that your taxes show the money that you're really making. Not to say that, we don't make a certain amount of money, but some things we claim as, you know, uh, a loss, because they're for the business.
Right, but all business losses are not losses.
All business losses, correct, are not losses. So what I strongly suggest you do is, if you have 2 years of that work experience, usually they ask for 2 years taxes. On someone that's self-employed, it might be a little longer.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more, and then because mostly everything is bank statements at that point as well. So you want to make sure that your books.
But when you're talking about when you talk about just bank statements, then you talk about no doc loans, and
Right.
some no doc loans have went away during the pandemic. I believe
after
some are back.
After 2008, honestly.
Yeah.
After the collapse of the financial market.
Yeah, but they were still, they started to raise their heads again, and I think that they have gone away. So again, it would be best to talk to a lender about those things, but honestly, start preparing yourself. Meaning, don't claim as much on your taxes as an entrepreneur. Talk with your accountant to see, and let them know that you are going to purchase a house. And also speak with a lender, and we could definitely refer you to one to get some information and get started on the process. But as an entrepreneur, we do encounter a lot of roadblocks when it's coming to purchasing a house. It all depends on your books.
Mhm.
Your books got to be right. Has to be traceable.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's my advice.
Okay.
And like Curtis says, spend as least money as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, evaluate where your money is going. That's one and use
Track your expenses.
track your expenses. And for me personally, what I use Quicken. I use Quicken and QuickBooks for my business to, to monitor and track at where every dollar goes. So if I know how much I'm spending on dining, how much I'm spending on gas or utilities or whatever the expense is, it's all documented.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's easy to track and make it very easy to track it, so that I had an analogy one time when it comes to like debt and income, and it's like, figure you're in a boat, and if you're in this boat and the boat has a couple of holes in it and it's starting to go down, you want to know where the leak is coming from. So you need to know which holes to plug up. The biggest hole, you want to plug that one up first.
Yeah.
So how are you going to find the hole if you don't evaluate and know where the water's coming in at? So
yeah, our biggest hole was eating out. But the pandemic slowed that down. I had to save some money.
No, I think it kicked it up a notch. Honestly, I think we eat out even more. Ordering, and also to try to help.
Not at first, not
at first.
No,
but now we
started
do
doing
it too
that.
to at least help the local businesses too in the area, to try to help keep everybody afloat. And that's the thing about about equity, is it's being able to contribute.
Yeah.
Being able to make those contributions.
Absolutely.
And Eric said, yes, I use QuickBooks. Yes,
oh, that's good.
That's a good start. That's a
Mhm.
good start. Get to learn it. It has a lot of different features and stuff in it, a lot of reports, knowing your P&L, your profit and loss statement. That's one of the best things to, utilize that to track those expenses.
Yeah. Big accountants use that. So QuickBooks is a great tool.
It is. Yes, it is. All right. So what else do we? I mean, we don't have too many other questions. I don't see any other questions on here right now. All right, we got Ruben on. Ruben just popped on and said, "Hey, Grimes."
Hey,
Ruben, we might need to get you on here. We're talking about equity, Ruben. I mean, Ruben is our okay. Ruben is. He said Ruben Hill is watching. Ruben is our he's our financial advisor. I ain't gonna say one of, because my accountant is also a financial advisor as well, who I get a little information from. But Ruben is definitely one of the guys that help monitor our money.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, everyone wants to have their finances in order. And, the real simple part is, saving as much as possible, document all your spending, where it is, even if it's to the dollar store and you spend $5, just put it on paper at first. See how it looks, and see where you can cut out, even if it's temporary. It doesn't have to be a permanent way of living, but it could be a temporary way of living to get to your goal. Okay. And also, when you begin to feel like you have so many pots, your hand is over out, someone that cooks, you're a chef. So you're cooking, your hands is over here doing the broccoli, and you're trying to do the chicken over here and the rice over here. The other day, it's so funny. I ordered HelloFresh. This is funny. Okay. So I ordered HelloFresh, and I decided to, I don't want to think about all these things to do. I just want somebody to just give me the instructions and the ingredients, and I'll do it. It'll make it a lot easier, right? So I got the HelloFresh. I started reading the directions. Okay, then they're telling you, okay, do this, do that. And I found myself in 3 pots. I said, Madison, I called my daughter. I said, I need some help. I said, I don't know if I'm just taking in all the information, but I knew that I needed some help. Maybe I was taking it on too quickly. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't just taking my time, but I wanted to make sure everything was hot,
Mhm.
all at one time, because that's how I'm used to cooking. I know how to time things and make everything hot. But with this new found thing that was supposed to make my life easier, it just complicated my entire mind. So I said, you know what? I need some help. So you must not be afraid to say, I need some help.
Mhm.
Okay. Just call that professional, call that person, because
Mhm.
you're trying to save money in one way and you'll end up spending it in another way.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm trying to save bothering, let's say, my daughter, or trying to save time or whatever, doing this myself. I could have ended up burning up the food and we would have had no food that night. So get some help when you need the help. Get a professional.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Most professionals don't charge you to spend time to just answer your questions. Now, what you have to also internalize or search for yourself is, do I feel comfortable with this person?
Mhm. Yeah,
You
you want to
know,
make sure you find somebody that you, especially when it comes to managing your money, that you have a good relationship with that person. And like I said,
you
Ruben is
feel
on.
comfortable with Ruben.
I feel comfortable with Ruben. Ruben is on right now. He said, he's on his phone, and he says he has I have a budget spreadsheet that he could share.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
if you look in the comments, you can see Ruben's information on there. Give him a shout. Uh,
You could text him
yeah,
if you want to, message him through Facebook, or you can reach out to us. You can leave your emails.
yeah.
Maybe you want to leave your emails there and let him shoot you over the spreadsheets so you know you can start budgeting. I think that's pretty cool. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Ruben. We appreciate that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, we touched over everything that, I mean, just to go, let's just do a quick little recap of what we discussed tonight, because we're getting close to that time. We had about another 10 minutes here. And, we usually, like I said, this whole forum, the reason why we do this is really to interact with people. We want to interact with you so that, you know, you Eric, you came on with your questions. That was wonderful. We greatly appreciate that, because, like I said, that gives us something to work with, instead of just reading off of our script of information that we have, because it's not all scripted. Life isn't scripted. You got to be prepared for anything in this life at times.
Mhm.
So, but like I said, tonight, what we were talking about is equity and and being equal, helping it build equality. Equity, like we said, it represents the value that would be returned to a company shareholders if all of the assets were liquidated and all of the company's debts were paid off. That was in when we were talking about companies, and we can also think of equity as a degree of residual ownership in a firm or asset after subtracting all of the debts associated with that asset.
Okay.
Um,
I think one of the most important parts in there is when you separated the definition of equity versus equality.
mhm,
So equality, um, they're both there, equality and equity, to promote fairness. But here's the difference. Equality achieves this through treating everyone the same,
mhm.
regardless of the need.
Yes.
So equality does not always work, in a sense, if everyone does not start off on the same playing field, on the
Mhm,
same level field.
mhm,
Okay. So that doesn't always work. But equality is achieved through treating people differently depending on the need.
mhm,
Okay. So I'm emphasizing that is the difference based on the dictionary um, definition.
mhm,
Okay. So I want you to think about that a minute and think to yourself, okay, how do I get not only equity, but then build enough so I can have equality?
mhm,
Okay.
mhm. Okay, and some of the other things that we touched on. Uh, Well, it was an article written by Kim Porter, who we got some of the information from. Kim Porter at Bankrate. She was that wrote this article on how to build equity within your home. That was one of the parts where I got some of the information from that we discussed tonight as well. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at the comments real quick as well. But that's just Ruben giving Eric his information. That's great. I'm glad you guys could link up. So hopefully Ruben can help you out, Eric. And that's what this is all about. It's about making connections as well.
Sorry. And Simone and Lori, we could always share with you that information as well. If you want the budget spreadsheet, we can share with you as well.
Yeah, and and really at this point, I guess if you guys had any feedback that you guys want to share, Lori or Simone, if you want to, unmute yourselves and come on and say anything, I guess now would be the time, because I know at one point what was happening, and the reason why I wasn't allowing people into the Zoom meeting was because it would take over our screen. So at this point, I guess it's fine, because if you speak now, your screen will come up. Yeah, but you would have to unmute yourself if you wanted to say anything.
Thank you, Grimes family. This is Becky. And yes, I need that information, and I would like to meet Ruben for sure. And I came on a little late, but I'm sorry I am so late, because this topic is awesome. And you guys are giving good stuff already. What? Can we do this again? Like, are you going to have a number 2?
Well, thank you, Lori. It's always a pleasure talking to you and having you guys on.
Yes.
Will you have a part 2?
A part 2? I guess we're going to have a part 2, because equity is it's the sign of the times right now. I mean, it's a very big topic. Equity, people, establishing themselves, having a piece, really a piece of the pie. It's like that song, The Jeffersons. We're moving on up.
Yeah.
I forgot how the song go.
Oh my goodness.
but getting a piece of the pie, and that's what equity is about. We want everyone to be able to get established and have a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for
joining us.
Thanks for Simone
and Lori for joining us. And yes, we will share with you Ruben's information. He is an awesome guy. He's very good at what he does. Trust me, for Curtis to trust anyone.
We know, girl. We know.
He's good at what he does, and his family is beautiful as well. So also, just quickly, I don't have my Grimes Group shirt on. I have my social equity shirt on.
Nice.
And it's all about the equity and equality and family and leaving them and legacy, and leaving them something when you pass on. It's all, it encompasses all that. And if you can see, it's so colorful. This is what Keller Williams, my company, did. They made this shirt, and it's so colorful. You know why? Because all the fruits that come out aren't the same. We taste good, but we're different, right? We're not
right.
always. Oh, look. His face. Okay, so we're just gonna move on from that, and I hope that you had a great evening. Looking out. Say something.
I didn't have anything to say. I was waiting for you to finish.
Oh, okay. So anyway, looks like I think we had a great time tonight.
Yes, we
Ruben
did.
is laughing.
Ruben said laugh out loud.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I hope you had a great time tonight. I know we always do. We always enjoy doing this. It's just fun, and it gives us time to connect with everyone. And I know there's a lot of people that reach out to me later on in the week and say, "Oh, I watched that. That was, I got that what you said, and Curtis was good, or you guys were funny, or something like that. And it just makes me feel good that people are. Maybe this may not be a good time for everyone, but I'm sure that growth will come. Yeah. Because it's something that we are doing because we just want love on you guys. That's all.
Yeah, and we get a lot of people that watch it after the fact anyway. So I get a lot of people that give me a call and say, "Hey, yeah, I just finished watching, your last little show on there. We really appreciated it, and we got something from it." So that's the reason why we do this. And like I said, we want everybody to try to build some wealth, because we know wealth building is definitely key to just equity, having equity and ownership, and it gives you that sense of being, when you own something.
Yes. So we want you guys to own. All right.
Maybe guys. Oprah will get us a spot on own.
That'd be nice.
So that'd be
right.
She's on my vision board.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys. Well, listen, have a great night. And like I said, we'll connect you all to Ruben and to his spreadsheet. And
Ruben wants to come on real quick.
Okay.
We got another 3 minutes. So Ruben, we're gonna did I admit him?
I think so.
I don't see him come up. Oh, there he is. Goes. He's coming in. Gotta take it. There he goes.
Share the screen.
Once he starts talking, it'll share. We've got to connect his audio. His audio is waiting to connect. He is connected. All right, you got to unmute yourself, Ruben. Okay, you're on, buddy.
Hey, good.
I just came in to say hello, man. That's all.
Okay, well, it's good to let everybody see you and see the guy that I have to keep a good tail on. I got a tracking device on that guy right there. Because wherever my money go, wherever he go, I know my money better be somewhere near.
No, it's not going anywhere, man. I'll be in this business years to come.
I hear you.
I still got a 13-year-old baby that got to go to college. So
all right.
Wow.
Yeah, good to see you, Ruben.
Good to see you guys too. I just got home from picking up from soccer, so that's still going on. So
okay.
I caught you on the cell phone, but I did send you guys that budget spreadsheet too. So if anybody else needs it, they can contact me or they can contact you, whoever needs it. But it's pretty nifty.
Okay, awesome. Well, we will forward it to them. And then I'm sure that if they have any questions about it, they can contact you. But we will definitely forward it to them.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for that.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
All right. Well, I guess that's really going to close us out for the night. You guys can leave some comments, shoot us an email, shoot us a text, whatever it is, with any of your questions or any other topics that anybody wants to discuss as well. That would be a great thing as well. If there's something that you want us to discuss that, we don't know everything, but we know some people that know everything. So
yeah, you gotta hire the help.
That's
right,
Ruben?
Absolutely. Even me, man, I do what I do, but for folks like you, the tax person is very important. The accountant is very important. The attorney is very important. So those are things that I can't necessarily help people with. And you guys were talking about equity. One of the beautiful things about equity is that it brings value to us and our families and our heirs. But if we don't have the right structure in place to transfer that equity, we just wasted all our time building it.
Yeah.
Because, you look at some of our biggest entertainers here recently, Prince, Aretha Franklin, none of their affairs in order. And you don't have to be a bazillionaire to need that. So, if you have equity in your home, there are different ways to transfer that equity to the next generation, depending upon whether it depends. You can put yourself on a deed, you can have a trust. But if you're sitting here saying, when I pass away, my house is just going to go to my kids. It's not if you don't have a plan. So
Exactly.
I see it all the time. People pass away. Like even I'll drop one gem on you. Your bank accounts. If you have a single bank account that doesn't have what's called TOD, which is transfer on death, or POD, payable on death. If you pass away, say you two, and Curtis, you got a single account. God forbid if you leave us, Carlene cannot walk in that bank and get your money.
Right.
If it's not a joint account or TOD, that money's going to the state of Florida till they figure out what they're going to do with your estate. So there's a lot of little things we need to do to protect this equity too. So
absolutely.
Excellent topic today.
All right. Well,
that's a great
yeah.
tidbit. Yes.
That was definitely a rubric.
That was like dunk.
Good looking on that, Ruben. Good. I'm going to the bank tomorrow.
You have to.
See there, Simone said she's going to the bank tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to. If you have a single account and God forbid you pass away, your family can't walk in and get it. That money's going to your estate.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately and Curtis and I, we both, our parents have left us. So, I mean, we've dealt with a lot of these things.
Yes.
So you got to have it in order.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ruben, man. We greatly appreciate that. Glad you graced us with your presence this evening.
No, man, my pleasure. Thank you guys.
He came on and just dropped the mic.
Yeah. Nah, you said walk. Now I got to get out here and walk, man, so I can be around for all this equity I'm building.
All right. That's what's up.
We all need to.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Right. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
All
You
right,
too.
everybody. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's us, the Grimes Group, and we are signing off. And we thank you again and see you next week.
See you next
Thank
All right.
you.
week.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Bye-bye.